Hey everybody, this is Mike. I have another one of my wife's acrylic pour paintings. Another one she wasn't really happy with. And as you can see, I had already started inking this one. That was several weeks ago. And I wasn't really happy with what was happening there. When she finishes a painting, and after it dries and the paint has time to cure, it gets sprayed with a enamel clear coat to protect the paint, bring back the colors, protect them from fading. I don't know if they would fade or not, but it protects it. Keeps dust off, protects the canvas, so they get sprayed. I had sat down with the intent of using my Kuretake brush pen, and I found out quickly that the ink would not stick to that clear coat at all. I even let it dry a little bit and it wiped right off. So I experimented with my other pens and discovered that the only thing I had that would mark on it was Sharpie. I'm not a big fan of Sharpies for art purposes, so I stopped. I wasn't happy, and I quit doodling on it. Over the next few weeks, every time I saw this painting with my few lines in my stack of art stuff, it was eating away at me. I had this piece, I had some lines, and there it sat. So I finally decided that I could get over my problems with Sharpies and try again. And so this is what I did. A slow, long, drawn-out process, circling, lining, trying some cross-hatching, and it was kind of challenging. The colors my wife was experimenting with in this particular piece is a lighter purple, a lavender perhaps you might call it, and silver. Simple, two colors. I don't remember the technique she used for the pouring or dumping, or if it's the wood grain thing. I'm not up on all the terminology. But she wasn't happy with it. The lines weren't very contrasting, and it's another piece that she decided I could do some art on. And like I said, that wasn't working very good for me either because, well, Sharpies. So I decided to try again. And there are many subtle lines between the silver and the purple. Some shades, some hues that have no real way to separate them visually. So I had to decide, did I want to shade in the darker purple areas, or did I want to leave them be and just outline the silver, or a mix of those two things? And I actually did both. Just each little section I just let the pen go, filling in and shading as I saw fit at that particular moment. So while I was working on this, my mind was wandering. Actually, before I did this particular piece, I had recorded a gameplay video, and that was supposed to go up before this one, but I'm still in the process of doing some editing. There is so much to learn about video editing. I had hoped that I could add some simple effects. I wanted a marquee running across the bottom with a message. And with the software I currently have, that was tricky at best. So far, the most versatile video editing software in my possession is Blender, the 3D modeling program. And I've made great strides, I feel, in editing and chopping pieces of video together with it. But the marquee, well, I managed to make one, animated it, had my words going across, but I could not get them to appear over the video. It either takes over the video or it's not visible. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, so I'm still looking. And now I'm actually looking at other means of video editing. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can have that up pretty soon. And like this piece here, what did I do? I used Shotcut, open source video editing software, just to speed up the video, because this inking actually took almost 2 hours, and I've condensed it down to 12 minutes. And then I'm watching it in a little window on VLC Media Player while I have Audacity in the background talking to you. I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. I know Blender doesn't have a record audio function where you could just record right on the video. I don't know if any program does. It's all relatively new to me. But I'm learning. And hopefully everything keeps getting better as time goes on. You can see things are starting to take shape. I'm starting to get some outlines. The silver, the purple's getting a little shading and some cross hatching. Always practicing the cross hatching. It's a very organic. I mean, before the inking, it had a very underwater kind of bubbly tunnel thing going on. And then as I started adding ink, it just became more organic, less underwater and more organic. Something alive. Or something that was alive and isn't anymore. So I just scribble, let the pen do its thing, drop some ink here and there. Actually, I don't even know if the juice in a Sharpie is considered ink. What is it called when it's in a marker? Is it ink? I'm not sure. That would be something to look up. I really wished I could have used the brush pen on this. I need to look up if Sharpie makes brush tips. I think they do. My problem there is when it comes to brush tips, I like bristles, not that flexible felt. I have a problem with felt markers, even Sharpies. If I use them on regular paper and they make that little hissing sound, to me that's like other people with fingernails on chalkboards. Felt tip markers on paper, construction paper, cardboard, or styrofoam rubbing together. And that's when I start getting the chills and shivering from the sound. It's not a pleasant thing. Luckily, this particular piece with the paint and the enamel coating is very smooth, so the Sharpie could just glide over the top. Now if there's a bristle brush tip Sharpie, I might have to look into one of those in case I ever decide to do another inking on a pour painting that's already been sprayed. Again, not even sure if it's called ink. If it's in a brush tip and it's a Sharpie, is it still ink or is it paint? It's color. It's coming out of the tip. It's a marker or a pen, but it's a brush. What do you call it? Ooh, I switched over to the wider end of the Sharpie. That blank center area was driving me nuts. I kept circling and shading the silver and the darker purples. There's a big oval right in the middle of the painting with nothing in it, nothing to outline, nothing to circle. I could have left it alone, but my mind saw squiggly lines, so I added some. Not a lot. Somewhere in my mind, I was hoping to see like a tree of life type shape. And, well, that just didn't happen. But somewhere in my mind, I decided I should add some fruit hanging off of it. Which I didn't attach, I just made circles, shaded them. It still doesn't look like a tree. Doesn't look like a tree of life, doesn't look like a tree of anything. It just looks like lines and spirals. But it got the job done. Filled the spot in the middle. And, in my opinion, didn't really detract from all of the shading and outlining that had already occurred. I was actually pretty happy with the way this piece turned out. Not sure if I would have been happier using the brush tip. I feel more comfortable with Sharpie now. I like what happened here. And you got to see the process, and hopefully you like what happened here also. I'm sure there will be more coming. I have plans. I have ideas. So we'll see. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. Have fun. Bye.